All right, so before we move to the next instrument, I did think the cinematic toms were a little boomy, a little like muddy and boomy in the bottom. So let me just play that real quick. Just a little rumbly, right? I want to take out a little bit of those low ends. So, and that'll happen while you're mixing. You'll start listening and be like, oh, well, let me fix this, let me fix that. Even though you've already mixed a particular instrument, you'll find that the way it works with other instruments, you may have to go back and adjust one. So let's go to cinematic toms real quick. And I'm just going to remove, if you remember, the boomy section is around like 100 to 250 in that range. So like that particular area. And I'm doing this to try to find where it's the worst, right? And then I'm just going to pull that down just to cut some of it. So we do need to bring the volume up a little bit now that we've cut that frequency. Yeah, that's better. All right, cool. Anyway, let's go back and see what our next instrument is. So we've done pizzicato strings, pulse bass. We dealt a little bit with pulse chords, but I don't think we've looked at the bass yet. So let's hear what that sounds like. That we might be able to boost the low end of that. Hold on, let me see what else is going on. Is that the only bass sound? Yeah, we should boost the low end of this, because it's the only low sound that we have, and there's no sub or anything going on. So let's take a look at that. Where is it? There it is. Okay. So we're just gonna shelf it. There we go. Yeah, we can boost all the lows there. And it's okay that it's a little wide. Like, this doesn't need to be right down the middle in mono, because of those harmonics, right? Those higher frequencies. But I am going to cut off just the very tippy top of the high frequencies. There we go. Just the air. All right, let's listen. Let's listen to all of it. Oof. That made a big difference. Hold up. Yeah, there was no low in there. That sounded like thin as hell. So here, I'm gonna bypass it and show you the difference. So I'm gonna bypass the EQ. That's what it sounded like before. Let's add low end right here. There it is. That sounds like 100 times better, so yay for bass. All right. I think that's all we need to do with that one. It's not going to be in the way of the vocals. Well, maybe it will. Hold on. Let me look at the... Yeah, there's not a lot going on in the 2K range, like the 1 to 3. So I'm just going to leave it. Maybe I'll dip it down a little, but... Yeah, just a little bit. All right. Looks good. Okay, so that's the bass for that section. We've already done pulse chords, so we've made sure it wasn't fighting with anything. We added EQ. Rise, so let's hear what the rise sounds like. got some low end, but I think it needs it. Maybe I'll remove a little bit of that rumbliness. It definitely needs some low end to it, though. All right. Ooh, yeah, okay. Hold on, let's hear it with everything else real quick. Let me play it one more time. A lot going on all the frequencies for this thing. So let's listen to it all together. I think that's okay because I don't hear anything else going on. It's not fighting, it's not hiding a kick, it's not covering up a bass. I'm gonna leave the low end. There it's playing with a bass, but I can still hear that bass clearly. Not fighting with anything there. Not fighting with anything there. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it. I mean, maybe we'll notch it out for the vocals, but that's pretty good. You know, the 2K range, we'll just kind of do that. All right, cool. So that's the Rise. And let's do one more. We're kind of on a roll here. We're getting this finished up. Short strings we already did. All right, let's take a look at this snare. When I listened to it, when I soloed it, I was like, ooh, that snare's a little harsh. Like it's got that kind of sibilance and that harsh EQ to it, but let's play it with the track. Might be a little loud, but I think the snare's fine. We'll look at the EQ, see if there's anything weird going on, but that sounds pretty good. Cut out the very low end. All right, let's see how this affects it. Just notching it down a bit. We'll make that a little more narrow. That actually made it worse. Just gonna leave it. I can hear the snare clearly. It's got kind of that scratch snare thing going on, but it works for this song. So I'm gonna leave that. All right. Staccato brass we've already mixed. Timpani roll. All right, let's listen to the timpani roll. See what we got here. There's only one. Sounds great. And there's no other low end going on there. And then vocoder. So let's go to the vocoder. All right. So if you remember from the EQ cheat sheet, normally vocorders or vocal effects or things like that, they live right where the lead vocal is, so we want to pan them all the way to the sides. So we're going to pan this, and there's a little too much low end in this for me. Sounds a little boxy, and I know we put a filter on it when we were putting this together to take off some of that brightness, but I feel like we need to remove some of those like 500K range frequencies from it. All right, so let's just First, let's get wider. Alright, here we go. I'm gonna all the way out. Here, let me get a little closer to the beginning of this. Alright, now we EQ it. And remember, we cut that off so it would be, it wouldn't just ring out. I still like that, but I do hear a little click there, so I'm going to investigate that in a second. I'm going to take out the very bottom. Probably to 140, since it is a vocal. It's kind of a synth, too. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll remove a little bit of that. There we go. We'll probably need to turn the volume up on it. Oh, here, let me... That's cool. All right. Cool. Alright, so I'm going to show you what you can do with that abrupt cutoff where there's a little, like, clicky sound. That. So let's zoom in. So what we can do is just cut it right on the beat. So it'll still stop right on that beat. But with FL Studio 21, it has a built-in tool where you can just drag this corner and do a little fade out. It's still there a little bit. We may need to cut this off. Oh, there we go. That one's fine. That one's fine. It was just this little one. So we just cut it off and we added a little crossfade right there, or a little fade right there, and we're good to go. Okay, so we only have 2 more instruments, so I'm just going to plow through. This might be a little bit longer of a module, but we're almost there, so let's do that. Okay, where is my... Okay, this is my playlist. All right, so all we have left are a couple of instruments that we added here. We added a crash and a swell synth. Actually, it's a swell bass. I don't even think I need to EQ anything on that. The crash, I'm just going to see if there's any low end happening, and we'll take that out. And maybe we'll boost a little bit of the high end so it rings out, but other than that, should be good. Okay. So let's start with the crash. All right, let me put an EQ on it. There's not even there's nothing going on in the low end. It sounds good. Those 2 sounds are fine. And it won't be in the way of the vocal or anything like that. We have a mixed song, ladies and gentlemen. We are good to go. So next I'm going to play this from the beginning, because this is the last, trust your ears moment. I don't think in this whole tutorial, I don't think we played this song from the beginning to the end. So we're just going to play it in the next one. And likely we'll spot some things here and there that we want to fix. But as far as mixing, we are good to go. Hey, what's going on? I hope you've enjoyed this training. This training is just part of a larger course, so if you want to take the whole course, just go to this playlist right here. Also, if you subscribe to my channel, you're going to get a lot of information on how to get your music into TV and film. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead and subscribe, comment, like, all of those things. Let's go.